Hello, coaches and basketball enthusiasts. Welcome to the Coach Carvalho podcast, the podcast that explores the world of statistically based basketball strategies and bold training methods. I'm your host, Coach Carvalho, and in today's episode, I want to share something that I believe every coach, player, and basketball mind needs to hear. Over the years, I've studied this game from both a strategic and analytical perspective. And here's the truth I've come to understand. Most teams are playing the same game. The problem is when everyone plays the same way, it only favors teams with superior talent. If you don't have a roster stacked with elite players, simply competing won't be enough to win. Winning requires a different approach. It demands that you force adjustments, disrupt your opponent's rhythm, and play a smarter game rooted in clear, data-driven goals. Think about it. The best teams in the country dominate because they play within their strengths and their opponents allow them to do it. Take Auburn, for example. They thrive offensively. Their ability to score efficiently on nearly every possession gives them a huge advantage. If you let Auburn play their game, maximizing points per possession and offensive efficiency, they will outscore you every time. On the other side, you have a team like Tennessee. Their defensive rating proves they're elite. They excel at stifling opponents, forcing low-quality shots, and disrupting offensive flow. If you step onto the court and let Tennessee dictate the game defensively, you're already fighting an uphill battle. Then there's Houston. They bring a completely different style of play. Houston slows the game down intentionally, creating low possession games where their defensive control and methodical offense shine. Teams that fail to adapt to their tempo end up frustrated, worn down, and unprepared. And let's not forget Iowa State. They take the opposite approach. They play fast. Quick possessions, high tempo, and efficient scoring overwhelm teams who aren't ready to handle their pace. If you don't have a strategy to slow them down, they'll run you off the court. Here's the point. These teams dominate because their opponents fail to challenge what they do best. They're allowed to execute their game plan comfortably. Auburn is allowed to score efficiently. Tennessee is allowed to dictate defensively. Houston is allowed to slow the game down. Iowa State is allowed to speed it up. Their strengths remain unchallenged. And when that happens, talent prevails. Most teams fall into this trap. They stick to predictable strategies, failing to force opponents into uncomfortable adjustments. And when you play predictably, you're only competing. Competing alone will not win games against elite teams. Winning doesn't come from playing harder. It comes from playing smarter. It comes from challenging efficiency, disrupting rhythm, and taking control of possessions. You need to take your opponent out of their comfort zone. If you're facing a fast-paced team like Iowa State, slow them down. Force them into a half-court game where they struggle to generate efficient shots. If you're up against a slow, deliberate team like Houston, you need to speed up the pace and take away their ability to control the tempo. Against a team like Tennessee, you need to force their defense to break down. Create mismatches. Take high-quality shots they can't stop. And if you're playing a team like Auburn, you must challenge their efficiency. Force turnovers, contest every shot, and disrupt their offensive flow. The difference between winning and losing lies in your ability to adapt and force the other team to adjust to you. Basketball rewards preparation. It rewards the teams that can recognize what their opponents do best and take it away. It rewards those who understand the game's numerical logic and apply it strategically. Simply competing means you're playing their game on their terms. And when you do that, the team with the most talent will always have the upper hand. But when you force them to adjust, take them out of their rhythm, and tilt the game in your favor, you give yourself a real chance to win. Coaches, I hope this episode challenges how you think about preparation, data-rooted strategy, and the game itself. To apply these insights practically and give your team a competitive edge, check out Smart Hoops Analytics at www.smarthoopsanalytics.com. At Smart Hoops, we'll help you break away from traditional strategies and employ a smarter approach. We provide data-driven game analysis tailored to your team's strengths and your opponent's weaknesses. Our strategy rooted in precise data, focuses on reducing opponent possession time and limiting point production per possession. These insights will tilt the game in your favor and enhance your team's chances of success against any level of opponent. It's not about reinventing your coaching, it's about playing smarter basketball. Well, coaches, that wraps up today's episode. We would greatly appreciate your support. If today's discussion resonated with you, leave us a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and visit our podcast website to give us your feedback. Your engagement strengthens this community and helps us continue to grow. You can also find the Coach Carvalho podcast on TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and more. Until next time, keep pushing, preparing, and finding ways to play smarter basketball. Remember, it's about more than just numbers. It's about turning those numbers into success. Until next time, keep pushing the game forward, one strategy at a time, and win with data. This is Coach Carvalho signing off.